Welcome to Spirit School. My name is Danielle Sarank, also known as the Squamish Medium. I am the host of your Spirit School, where I will share all the lessons and learnings that I have uncovered through my intuitive development and mediumship development journey. I am a professional psychic and medium, an intuitive teacher and mentor, and I look forward to walking alongside you on this journey. Hello everyone, welcome to Spirit School. Today we're going to be talking about self-doubt and that niggling little you can't ego mindset that creeps in, especially when you're tuning into your spiritual development and mediumship development. And nobody is exempt from this. I promise you. It doesn't matter how much that person on Instagram looks like they have everything going on and that they're not shaken up at all, and that they have their ego completely in check. So they don't face those fear mindsets or negative bias mindsets that come up around, intuitive development and spirit connection and picking up information to pass on for others. Nobody is exempt from, the self-doubt that can come up on this journey. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's very important to talk about. So I have mentioned in previous podcasts that, the intuitive inspiration that we get through our clairs, and we've covered clairsentience so far, which is the clear feeling, and we're going to cover the rest in the upcoming months. And then there's clairvoyance, which is the clear seeing, claircognizance, which is the knowing, and clairaudience, which is the hearing, and there are a few more, but that's just what we'll cover now. And when we receive information through these faculties, it's very subtle. Very subtle. It's very, very rare you will encounter somebody who actually claims that they see spirit with their naked eyes. Even me having, paranormal, and I put that in air quotes, experiences my entire life, I have only ever seen spirit with my two eyes, naked eyes, twice in my entire life. The rest of the time it's been in my third eye, aka imagination, or you sense them in other ways. And when you sense them, it is very subtle. So there can be some self-doubt that creeps up around that. Is that feeling mine? Is that someone else's? Is that spirit I'm sensing? Or is it hopeful thinking? I was thinking about the person, then they called. Was that just a coincidence? There's all these different self-doubt dialogues that come up within that are basically just created from the experiences that we've had in life. And I will get to why I strongly believe this, because I know for myself, I was a very, very fearless teenager, very fearless 20-something. I made some crazy, insane decisions in my life that some might think would be irresponsible, but they were not. They were soul-seeking, adventure-seeking decisions, and I was fearless about them, and I lived an amazing, exciting life because of that. And I didn't have fear and self-doubt come into my life until two things happened. One, I had children. They always have that saying, you don't know fear until you have a child. That is completely true. And then also my mediumship abilities came to my awareness after the birth of my daughter. And it was through that mediumship development journey, it was the first time I started doubting myself. Am I going crazy? Am I actually experiencing this? I could have an amazing session in class, pick up so much evidence, and I would still, on the way home, doubt myself and be like, no, I can't do it again. That didn't actually happen, or maybe I'm making it sound better in my mind than it was. And I would start going to this negative bias and self-doubting all the experiences I just had. And I know I'm not alone in this, which is why I'm sharing it. So, how do you overcome, specifically when it comes to intuitive development and mediumship development, how do you overcome that shadow of doubt? Well, one of the things I think you can do is around practice, right? I harp on practice all the time. Pull out your cards, get a friend of a friend to come sit with you, little tiny donation just for the purpose of just seeing what you get, and give everything you get. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I seeing in my imagination? What do I think I'm hearing, which is in that internal ear? Might be a song that's playing through your head. Give everything you get, and then wait for those validations to come through. And unfortunately, this is one of the, things that we do in life where we do need external validation that we're not crazy. We need people to validate that the information we are receiving and passing on is understood. So it does take that validation. But there does come a point and a fine line that you have to meet, that you don't have to rely on external validation to A, know that you're a medium, B, know you're intuitive, C, know that you're connected to the divine, whether that's angels or departed loved ones or God or one of an ascended master, whatever it is. You can't rely on external people to validate that for you. So there is a very fine line there, and you have to be careful not to fall into that trap. Pardon me, just kidding. So the other thing that I think is going to be very, very powerful for you is I do believe very much that the self-doubt and that fear that creeps up within us is a condition of our experiences through life. We all have experiences through life. We all have experiences that are heartache, negative, traumatic sometimes. We all have that. So we will all have, a negative bias within us. And that is based off of our human experiences. But one extremely, extremely powerful exercise I really encourage you to do when it comes to, coming out of that fear mindset or self-doubt mindset is I just want you to take a deep breath and sit down in a beautiful seat. I sat down in front of a window in my bedroom on the floor, and there's a beautiful play track on YouTube, and it's called Spending Time with God. I think it is. It's just this piano playing, but it's a beautiful track, and it's just very lovely and serene and gets you into that place and space. So then I want you to close your eyes and take some real deep, high quality breaths. And then when you're ready, keep your eyes closed. I want you to put your 7-year-old self in front of you and facing you. And then you might start feeling quite emotional because you're going to feel all these feels that come up. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but they're wonderful feelings. And I want you to look at that 7-year-old self and put a smile on your face. And it doesn't matter what was going on at 7 in your house, your living condition. It doesn't matter all that external stuff. What you're looking at is the soul of a 7-year-old that is so blinded by faith and just trust in God and the universe, and it doesn't even need to contemplate these things because there's just that innate trust and this light and this spark and this beautiful, innocent 7-year-old. And I want you to talk to that 7-year-old. I want you to say all the things that are coming up within you. You can say things like, you are so worthy of all the joy and happiness in your life. You are so worthy of all the experiences, all the, positive and affirming information that comes through you. You can say whatever you want to this 7-year-old, but I really want you to pick up the essence of this child that's in front of you, because this child doesn't have doubt. This child doesn't have fear. This child doesn't have any concerns about being disconnected or about getting it wrong or about, all the stuff that we have hanging up around ourselves at this time in our lives. Maybe we're in our 30s or 40s or wherever we are. But I want you to really spend some time with this inner child and give her the message that you need to hear the most. And I guarantee you're going to have a beautiful experience if you do this exercise. And so then from there on out, either you put up a picture of your 7-year-old self at your desk at work or in your office space. If you're doing some spiritual arts like I do, I want you to be reminded of the 7-year-old self that brought you comfort in that time of need. And any time that you feel fear or doubt creep in, I want you to go back to that 7-year-old self and talk that inner dialogue. I want you to be like, you are so worthy of a joyful experience. You are so worthy of being validated by your own soul and your own higher self, that you are on the right track and that you're exactly where you need to be at this time. And I want you to keep that 7-year-old self alive within you, okay? Because I can tell you, I know so many people and hear so many stories about people who start on this intuitive path, this, whatever you want to do with it, and then they get knocked off because they get completely consumed by fear and doubt. And you need to transform that. Of course you're going to feel fear and doubt. We're humans. We've had all these negative experiences in our lives that now tell us from a cellular level that we need to flight, fight, or freeze. So we need to bring back that innocence within ourselves, that 7-year-old self that's just innately divinely connected to God and the universe. And let that 7-year-old self nourish us and nurture us in a way that we need at that time. And don't fall off the path. If you totally did, what you would term like crappy readings in a class, or you had a bad experience putting yourself out there and it didn't work out as high as you had expectations for, get back on the track. Talk to that 7-year-old self and get out there and do it again. The last thing I want to hear is anybody giving up or making themselves small and keeping themselves small because of the internal dialogue in their mind from the condition that we've had in this life. You are worth so much more, my friends. And I feel even emotional talking about this because I see it all the time. And I tell you, one of the biggest messages that angels have when they come in and communicate through me is, I wish you could see yourself how we see you, as just beings of love and perfect beings from the same place that we're from. And it's so powerful because when I went through this exercise that I gave you myself, I was so emotional because looking at my 7-year-old self and, I saw my daughter, and my daughter's 5 years old, and I can see my daughter within it. It's just like, you are so worth everything. Like, don't cut yourself short. And I really want you to take this message. And it's very heartfelt. Anyone who listened to the Clairsentient podcast, this is around the clear feeling. I'm completely coming today from my heart center. And so I want you to be able to feel if you can pick it up. Okay? Because I'm just coming from the heart today. But do the exercise. Give a big middle finger to self-doubt. Okay, try to identify a root cause of why you would feel so much fear and doubt if you feel like going down that path. But just keep going, guys. You're going to do great.